بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And one of the reasons why Shaitan is such an avowed and staunch and sworn enemy of insan is because of one thing mentioned in the previous surah, and another thing which is, well, it's mainly to do with one thing. Shaitan swore his enmity, Iblis swore his enmity for mankind because of the honor that Allah had bestowed upon man and his envy of that privileged position. Does not Allah say in the previous surah, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, and from the evil of the envier when he envies? And that's the evil of every envier. But the greatest envier ever was Iblis. And his envy was the greatest. And the damage done by the envy of Iblis cannot be matched or surpassed by the danger of any other envier. And this is why envy is so evil that ulama have mentioned the first sin that occurred, or the first sin that was committed in the heavens, was envy, and the first sin that was committed on earth was envy. Iblis refused to prostrate to Allah Azza wa Jal because of his envy of the privileged position of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. On earth, Qabil killed Habil because of his envy of Habil's position and privileges. The first sin in heaven was hasad, envy, and the first sin on earth was hasad, envy. So Allah says, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, and from the evil of the envier when he envies, the last verse of Surah Al-Falaq, and then immediately thereafter we begin Surah al-Nās. Now comes a story of the greatest raging battle as a result of one person's envy of the other. And that's all the way back to the beginning of creation. When Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam alayhi salam, Allah says in many verses, repeatedly, again and again throughout the Quran, Allah says, and when we instructed the angels that prostrate to Adam, all of them prostrated, with the exception of Iblis. He wasn't one of the angels, as Allah says in Surah Al-Kahf. كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. He was of the jinn, so he departed from the command of his Lord. He transgressed against and he departed from the command of his Lord. So Iblis refused. And when Allah asked him, why did you refuse? He said a number of things, all of which reflected his envy. First of all, and his arrogance. But they are connected. Arrogance and envy were connected, and they are always connected, because a person envies since he or she feels entitled. And that sense of entitlement arises from arrogance. A person feels that this individual has a certain privilege. It could be anything, it could be wealth, it could be something else. Why does he or she have that? They don't deserve it, I deserve it. Why do I deserve it? Because I am better than them. I deserve it because of my self-worth. So envy stems from arrogance. Envy is a result of a person's feeling of entitlement and of worthiness. And they rage, seethe in anger, and glow green in envy when they discover that despite their supposed entitlement and their worth, they have been deprived of something, but someone else, who they feel is beneath them and inferior to them, has obtained it or attained it.